It's trendy to dunk on Xbox these days. Layoffs, declining hardware sales, and the whole we're now a third party publisher vibe. But hey, with years of digital strategy consulting experience under my belt, I'm here to tell you there might just be a method to its madness. It all depends on how you define success. Spoiler alert, it's no longer about selling a new box, it's about Xbox evolving into Microsoft Gaming, whether we gamers like it or not. Welcome to Imagine Kush, where gaming gets real, deep, and just a little obsessed. If you're new here and are into Xbox, action adventure games, RPGs, hit that subscribe button and enable notifications so you never miss out on new content. The current Xbox identity can trace its roots all the way back to the glorious train wreck of the Xbox One launch under Don Matrick. Let's rewind to 2013. Don steps up and announces a technically inferior yet more expensive Xbox One console. Then he proceeds to a demo. Except this demo is mostly about how to use a console for watching TV and movies. There were barely any games, no sharing allowed with your friends, and the whole always online requirement led to such a backlash that poor Don had to literally exit stage left, allowing Phil Spencer to step up and run Microsoft Gaming in its stead. Thanks to PlayStation's clever marketing, better specs, and a fantastic first-party lineup, Xbox was left eating PlayStation's dust. Everything Xbox has done since then is a response to that disaster, starting with game availability. Xbox today fundamentally revolves around Game Pass. Launched in 2017 with roughly 100 titles available to download for $9.99, Game Pass fits perfectly into Microsoft's overall cloud strategy. And Microsoft and Xbox tried to do to the video gaming industry what Netflix did to film and television: create a content buffer for a single recurring charge. Recurring revenue from gamers was a shiny new concept and one that executives preferred over the old model of one-time product sales. In 2025, it's fair to say that Game Pass has reshaped customer expectations. It's no longer about owning games, it's about access. And that shift benefits Microsoft more than anyone. Day one releases give subscribers access to new games without any extra charge. xCloud made it possible to play on multiple devices, not just PC or console. But with great access came a great cost. The highest tier today, Game Pass Ultimate, costs $19.99 a month. Game Pass Ultimate to me is still undervalued at this price. When you consider the amount of benefits you're receiving, Microsoft is basically subsidizing your playtime to build habit and loyalty. It's Netflix for games, but with a twist. It's not just about content, it's about keeping you engaged inside the Microsoft ecosystem. That being said, don't expect the Game Pass Ultimate undervaluation to stay for very long. AAA titles have historically relied on upfront sales and long-tail monetization. They're still figuring out how to make Game Pass work without cannibalizing that revenue, especially with the rising costs of game development breathing down their necks. With the outerworlds 2 as a case in point, which is a solid AA game, it should have been priced between $50 to $60. Instead, it was marketed at $80 and then is dropped to $70. Are you confused? That's okay. It's all based on market conditions. Folks, the truth is we live in a Donkey Kong world, chaotic, unpredictable, and full of things breaking. Global tariffs, inflations, geopolitical tensions, supply chain chaos have made pricing a moving target. Market conditions is now become corporate speak for we're winging it. It's affecting you, me, even Microsoft. Now, did Microsoft poke the proverbial gaming bears by demanding $80 games? Did they get a little too greedy? Of course they did. But let's be real. We live in a capitalist society, and Microsoft is a $1 trillion company. That doesn't happen because you're being generous or you keep your prices flat while costs are rising. You get there by testing boundaries, reading the market, and adjusting when necessary. This is a business after all. The price rollback wasn't just about consumer backlash. It's strategic recalibration, likely based on those pre-order numbers. Microsoft knows that perceptions matters. They're not just selling you games, they're selling their trust in their ecosystem. The AAA pricing strategy will and probably continue to be messy, not just for Microsoft, but for Nintendo and Sony as well. We're oddly tolerant when Mario Kart and GTA 6 are $80 plus, but then these are the unicorns. Variable pricing in AAA is here to stay, especially now that Xbox relies on software sales more than ever. We lost the console war in the worst generation to lose, said CEO Phil Spencer. Xbox hardware revenue has declined every quarter over the past 15 months, ranging from 6% to 30% year on year. PlayStation is the go-to console across the globe, and this happened during 2023 to 2025 when Sony only released Spider-Man 2, Astro Bot, and Death Stranding 2 as console exclusives. Traditionally, consoles have been subsidized. The logic is simple: sell the hardware at a loss and make it back through software and services. But what happens when not enough hardware is sold to play those games? Do you continue making losses? This is a textbook example of a sunk cost fallacy. And this strategy only worked when Xbox was a rounding error on Microsoft's P&L. All of this changed with the $60 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard King. With console exclusivity in place, it meant that ABK games would only be playable on the console that's sitting in third place. That would have been bold. One could only imagine the look on Satyanadella's face when he was first told of this. From all accounts, Satya isn't a gamer, he's an engineer with a technical background. He must have been thinking, games are software, aren't they? We're Microsoft, aren't we? Why are we not selling this software on every capable device? I mean, from his perspective, it probably seems absurd not to. After all, Microsoft sells Office to Apple devices. Why can't we do the same with Call of Duty to Sony's PlayStation? This generation made one thing absolutely clear. Xbox was done playing Sony's game. They first tried to compete on hardware. That didn't work. The Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 are so similar that the only real winner is AMD, who is supplying chips to both these companies. Exclusive libraries? Well, that's a bust. Sony's iconic lineup, The Last of Us, Uncharted, God of War, Horizon, Death Stranding, Astro Bot, Ghost of Tsushima have all achieved some level of cult status. Xbox, pretty much Forza has been carrying the torch for them this generation. A pivot was needed. In 2024, Xbox made the bold decision to start releasing games on PlayStation at full price. It started small. Pentiment, a Hi-Fi Rush, Grounded, and Sea of Thieves were the first 4 games to be released. But slowly the lines blurred. More and more titles started crossing the red line, to the extent where Elder Scrolls 4 and Forza Horizon 5 are now some of the best-selling games on the PlayStation Store. With Gears of War set to make its PlayStation debut later this year, it's only a matter of time before Xbox's crown jewel, Halo, joins the party. As much as the Xbots lamented the death of Xbox as a brand, the brand arch rivals. Like, seriously, can someone please explain to me why this is a bad thing? Exclusivity is a dumb walled garden that thankfully younger generations don't seem to be subscribing to. Gen Alpha does not care where they're playing their games. Hell, half the time they're not even playing on console for titles like Roblox. Microsoft knows this, and it's playing for the future. This isn't a philosophical shift, it's a business strategy. Microsoft has never truly succeeded with hardware. From Zune to the Surface, it's more of a side hustle at best, and Xbox is no different. The real value lies in software, cloud infrastructure, and cross-platform services. Now, let's address the elephant in the room: job cuts and studio closures. Since 2023, thousands have lost their jobs at Microsoft and its gaming division. It's only natural that some attrition was expected after the ABK acquisition. Every acquisition has some friction, especially when roles become redundant. Others lost their jobs when their games were cancelled, like Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark, which was developed by The Initiative, a new first-party studio, was announced in 2020 and was cancelled 5 years later. During that time, we saw some gameplay that looked okay at best and dated at worst. There are talented teams within Microsoft with incredible potential. But if they're struggling despite all the support, all the resources, it's time to ask, is it still worth it? Again, it's easy to get caught up in the sunk cost fallacy. Do we continue to invest more years after already putting 5 years of money into this game which we're not sure about? Microsoft realized it wasn't working out and pulled the plug before sinking more into a release that, in all honesty, would not recoup its investment. Let's play devil's advocate for a second. Let's assume that the gameplay showcased in 2024 was representative of the final product. It would have taken another 2 years to ship out, so 2027 at the earliest. Game design is evolving so rapidly these days that what looks like a dated snippet in 2024 would have been an out-of-touch mess at the time of release. 2 years ago, Redfall launched. That game was just not good. And everybody asked the same question. Why didn't Microsoft leadership step in and put it out of its misery? No one wants another Redfall. But cutting projects also means admitting that things are needed, people are not needed, and as a result, jobs are going to get cut. This is a known quantity in any software development project. The largest IT services provider, TCS, recently cut 12,000 jobs and introduced policies to axe personnel that are not assigned to active projects for extended periods. There's a lot of vitriol online aimed at Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond. But let's put ourselves in their shoes. Satyanadella is the boss. His goal? Microsoft software on every device. It doesn't matter if that software is called Excel or Call of Duty. There are no red lines. Who says no to their boss? Certainly not when their boss is one of the most powerful men in business today. That is career suicide. And here's the kicker. It's not Satya making these announcements. Why would he? It's Phil Spencer who steps up, knowing full well that he'll take heat from the Xbox community. He's the guy who took the Xbox One generation's failures on the chin and came up with a way to stay competitive. This is not an enviable task. Nothing about it is. Whether you're deciding which team to get cut or which project gets funded and which one doesn't. The truth is, numbers don't lie. It's entirely possible that compared to other titles, the unnamed Romero game shooter that got cancelled just didn't look like a good return. That's probably why it lost its funding. There's a limit to money, to billionaires, to governments, and yes, even to Microsoft. Anyone thinking that money is unlimited is ill-informed at best or delusional at worst. This is a publicly traded company. Investors are watching where every dollar goes. You've got to run the ship tight. Let's look at Ubisoft for comparison. The IP owners of Rainbow Six, Far Cry, and Assassin's Creed has a market cap of $1.2 billion. The IPs themselves are arguably worth more than 1.2 billion. The truth of the matter is that Ubisoft has been so poorly mismanaged, bloated with thousands of employees, layers of management that seems incapable of identifying what's working and what's not. If Phil Spencer ran Xbox the way the Guillaume family ran Ubisoft, he would not be CEO anymore. Investors set expectations and you have to meet them by hook or by crook. If not, they'll just find somebody else to do it. So if not Phil, someone else. And the truth is, job losses are a sad reality of our industry today. Now, I am not defending how Microsoft communicates these job losses, both to their affected employees or through the market in general. And honestly, the next round of cuts should be to the PR and comms department, because how these layoffs are handled is very insensitive and out of touch. So, what does success look for Xbox in 2025? It looks like it's embracing the future of Microsoft gaming. It's not about console wars. It's not about exclusives. It's not even about winning hearts anymore. It's about winning time. Your time, my time, and every gamer's time spent inside that Microsoft ecosystem. Microsoft Gaming is no longer a side hustle. It's a software-first, platform-agnostic publishing powerhouse. Whether you're playing on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, streaming on your phone, if you're playing a Microsoft game, they've won. Yes, the layoffs hurt. Yes, the cancellations sting. And yes, the identity crisis you feel is real, but behind the chaos is a strategy, a pivot from hardware to software, from exclusivity to accessibility, from console pride to ecosystem dominance. This pivot will take time, and there will be more pain for many employees at Microsoft. But the alternative? Doing nothing except the status quo, be the third place console manufacturer with declining hardware sales and sell lesser and lesser games. And how this would have kept people in their jobs, I have no idea. So let's be real, Xbox isn't dying, it's evolving into Microsoft gaming. It just changed the rules of how this game is played, and while some are still counting consoles, Microsoft is counting ecosystems, engagement, and recurring revenue. So the next time someone says Xbox is dead, just remind them that Forza Horizon 5 topped the PlayStation charts. Well, that's all from me. Drop a like if you've actually made it this far in this video. Let me know in the comments what you think of Microsoft's pivot this generation. Are you angry about all the cancelled games? And do you think Phil is still the best man for the job? If you're into more content like this, hit subscribe and turn on notifications to stay up to date. Until next time, stay curious, stay critical.